acknowledging the devastating consequences of incarceration of children and families. Children, through no fault of their own, are also punished and become victims. And the intergenerational cycle of incarceration continues if we fail to further invest in effective justice reinvestment programs. There's ample evidence of what works. Reserve prison for the worst offenders, divert the lesser offenders to drug and alcohol treatment, to relevant community service and other proven strategies. House Bill 3078 builds from this proven approach, and it's smart on crime strategies for workable solutions. As legislators, we knew that investments in proven justice reinvestment would reduce future costs to the state and would also keep communities safe. However, when the initial legislation passed in the 2013 session, we did not sufficiently address the issues of incarcerated women. Let me remind you that the women's prison, Coffee Creek, is at this moment using 120 temporary and emergency beds, putting both inmates and workers at risk. I personally have visited Coffee Creek and saw firsthand the impacts. Opening a new women's prison would cost taxpayers about $20 million per biennium and would not solve the root causes of addiction-driven property crime, the reason most women are incarcerated. House Bill 3078 would hold all people accountable, invest in treatment for addiction-driven crime, and avoid wasting millions of taxpayer dollars on simply housing people when we could directly impact against the cause of their crimes. I need to address some of the opposition to House Bill 3078. And to be very clear, Theft 1 and ID theft are the primary drivers of women's prison population. The intent of Measure 57 was to punish big-time drug dealers and con artists. Instead, we are in fact putting nonviolent addicts and low-level offenders into expensive prison beds. Through this bill, Measure 57 crimes remain felonies with presumptive prison sentences of over a year in prison with violence involved. To further clear up any confusion, the expansion from 90 to 120 days is a may, not a shall, giving the courts, district attorneys, sheriffs, and community corrections the ability, but not the requirement, of giving short-term transition leaves, ensuring that individuals are no longer statutorily eligible for short-term transition leave. And let me make something even more clear. House Bill 3078 also makes sure that individuals are no longer statutorily eligible for short-term transition leave if sentenced with major felony sex crimes, aggravated theft in the first degree when victims are 65 years of age or older, unlawful delivery of cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, or ecstasy to minors, large amounts of a controlled substance under or felony driving under the influence of intoxicants. There's another large issue here. With only 5% of the world's population, we in the U.S. have more than 20% of the world's prison population. And that makes us the world's largest incarcerator. Right here in Oregon. We are no exception. Consider these identifying attributes. Our state's Department of Correction and the Veteran Affairs estimate that 1,250, that's 8.5% of our inmates, are veterans. 70% incarcerated are women at Coffee Creek, and they're there for nonviolent drug and property crimes. Most suffer from an addiction or mental health condition. And 75% of those women have children. And after 18 months, their rights as mothers are terminated. African Americans are eight times...
Thank you. Representative Stark yields his time. Continue.
Thank you, Representative. African Americans are 8 times more likely to be incarcerated. Over 95% of those incarcerated will return to the community. We need to ensure that these veterans, these families, and especially these mothers and our communities have pathways to crime-free, productive lives instead of perpetuating intergenerational cycles of incarceration as we do now. House Bill 3078 creates pathways towards safer communities for all and simultaneously gives Oregonians the best return on their investment. Mr. Speaker, I remind you that current cost to taxpayers for prison bed is estimated at $34,511 per month. Colleagues, it costs us to educate one student in Oregon K-12, $8,834 per year. What a lopsided investment. And now I'm going to get really real, because today I am damn mad. I have been intimidated, I have been bullied, I have been threatened about the vote that I am about to take. And for those reasons, and the reasons that I stand on, that I just spoke about, the fact that I believe that this is good policy, just like those that went before me that believed that House Bill 3194, who at that time many people believed wouldn't work, and it did. Today I will stand on my principle, and I will stand on the fact that I gave my word, and I believed when I first met with Senator Winters and many others on House Bill 38, on the policy in the preface, that it would change Oregon, and it would move us forward in a positive way for women and for others. I will not be bullied. I will not be intimidated. I have been told I will be primaried and I will not come back to this building. Well, guess what? If I don't, okay. My vote is not for sale. I am not for sale. And the day that I take a vote based on intimidation is the day that I will leave this building. And I'll leave with my head held high because I know I did the right thing. And colleagues, you take the vote that is in your heart, and I am not saying you should vote the way that I am. I did not get one email or one phone call from a constituent telling me that I should not take my vote today the way that I have chosen. It came from others outside this building and interest groups who seem to think that they have it figured out better than I and many others. So be it. Because if I don't have my word, I have nothing. And today I choose to stand on my word, and I choose to stand on my principle. And I believe that House Bill 3078 will have good outcomes like House Bill 3194 did 4 years ago, excuse me. And at the end of the day, either I will be respected for that or I will not. But I know I did the right thing. So colleagues, I will be a yes vote today. And I will hold my head high for doing so. Thank you.